Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
The city is taking additional measures to ensure Lloydminster and neighboring communities are prepared in case of an emergency. The Regional Emergency Management Collective was set up at the last City Council meeting. The collective is a cost-sharing initiative that sees 10 different municipalities, including Vermilion, Lashburn, and Marwayne, work together to provide a plan to deal with emergencies in the region.
This case, because you never know what you're going to face. We could have a rail disaster that affects our community and our neighboring communities very easily. We could have an incident on Highway 16, Highway 17, or any other road in our area. Then we could have issues within a community, a natural gas leak, or even worse, an explosion.
The collective, as it stands, will cost roughly $32,000 annually, split between the 10 communities.
Often we already have agreements of working together with fire departments and what they're charging out at and things like that. But this really brings a whole different level of emergency management, and really appreciate the city as well as our neighboring municipalities that have indicated that they see value in working with the city for those plans.
The city hopes to get grant funding in the future for the project. Startup Lloydminster continues to help local entrepreneurs by putting on different workshops within the community, with some happening right around the corner. Our Callum Hawker reports.
Events and workshops put on by Startup Lloydminster has been a big help for entrepreneurs, local business owners, and people within the community for many years. The next workshop hosted by Startup Lloydminster is something that might be of interest to a lot of people right here in the border city.
Absolutely. So we're very fortunate to have Michael Kerr come and join us that day. Michael is the Executive Director of Advanced Hydrocarbons for Alberta Innovate's Clean Resources team. So he's coming to talk about things like hydrogen and bitumen beyond combustion and the opportunities that could be in this region as we get closer to that future of energy and that net zero that everybody seems to be talking about.
The Future of Energy in a Net Zero World workshop will be held on March 12th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., and you can register for free of charge on Startup Lloydminster's website. Callum Hawker, Primetime Local News.
A new Pins and Pints event took place at Lloyd Lanes recently, a chance for local businesses to network over some 5-pin bowling and beer. Beers were poured and strikes were made as the Lloydminster Chamber of Commerce held their first ever bowling tournament. Different businesses from around the city glowed in the dark as they hoped to get that much needed strike. Events like these can be hard to plan, and President Blaine Steffen was happy to see the turnout the event had.
This is our first annual Pins and Pints, and it was amazing. It was a sold-out event. People looked like they were just looking for something to do.
This event was a great way for Lloydminster businesses to network with each other.
We like to be able to bring our membership together, to be able to network and be able to see other companies and to be able to have some fun together, bring your coworkers out, and just to be able to lighten things up a little bit, especially in the middle of the dreary winters.
More information about the Lloydminster Chamber of Commerce can be found on their website. Callum Hawker joins me now with the weather. And Callum, we do have some snow headed our way, but so far no watches or warnings.
Yeah, no, but what I saw today in my email, what I was forwarded, we are actually expecting up to 20 to 40 centimeters this weekend. So another big weekend in terms of snowfall. But, you know, today we had some great weather. It was very warm throughout the day, a little colder than what it was previous days. But yeah, very sunny, like I said, minus 15 currently in the border city with some wind chills going up to minus 22. No snow as of yet, but like I said, we are expecting some big snowfalls this weekend. Looking over at the Alberta side here up in Cold Lake, minus 13 currently down in Marwayne at minus 15. Over in Vermilion and Wainwright sitting at minus 16 currently. Provost at minus 13. Same with St. Paul. Vegreville out at minus 16, and Edmonton currently sitting at minus 15. Now looking at the Saskatchewan side here, Pierceland and St. Walburg both sitting at minus 13 currently. Same with Meadow Lake actually. Green Lake at minus 11, and Isle La Crosse up at minus 15. Down in Maidstone is sitting at -16, while Macklin's at -13, and same with North Battleford, sitting at -13. And tonight in North Battleford, a low of -18, partly cloudy and cold. Again, you know, these regions as well are expected to get a big snowfall this weekend. So when you're going out on the roads, please be careful, because it's already been very slippery and snowy within the border city. And I'm sure North Battleford is, you know, a lot of the same. Tomorrow in North Battleford, a high of -14, cloud, brisk, and some cold as well. Precipitation at 25%. And in Cold Lake tonight, low of -21, so pretty cold in Cold Lake, with some winds of 9 kilometers an hour, so not too windy out there as well. And then as we jump into tomorrow's temperatures in Cold Lake, a high of -13, cloudy and very cold, with some more winds up at 19 kilometers an hour. And then as we look in Lloydminster here, -22, and could have a late night flurry overnight. And like I said, expected to go into the weekend as well. And then tomorrow's forecast, at around your wake-up time, 6 a.m., partly cloudy, -20 will be the conditions. Noon, -17. And then as we go later on into the evening, 6 p.m., some snow will start to fall at -16. And then going into the midnight hours at -17. So not too cold in the midnight hours, but we are expected to see some snow. And then as well, the 3-day forecast here, pretty snowy throughout the weekend. High of -15 on Saturday, low of -19. Sunday, some more snow coming in, 6 to 12 centimeters we see there. -16 will be the high, low of -20. And then on Monday, some more snow coming down within the border city. A high of -16 and a low of -24. That is all for your first look at our weather report. We'll have some more news headlines with Leanne after the break.
The Lakeland Rustlers will have 3 teams competing in their ACAC playoffs this weekend. Starting tonight, the Lakeland College Apex Automation Rustlers women's hockey team will begin their first round of playoffs against the St. Trojans at the Russ Robertson Arena. And both basketball teams will be off to their respective Final Four tournaments. They will have their first games tonight and the gold and bronze medal games tomorrow. And Callum Hawker is back in now to bring us more weather.
Thanks so much, Leanne. Yeah, a great day we had here in the border city, and not too cold. Currently -15 temperatures we're seeing outside. It was pretty sunny throughout the day. We had some cloud coverage throughout earlier in the week, but you know, to end off your week on a Friday with some great sun, it was a great day. Wind chill sitting at about -22, with some winds coming in from the northwest area of 11 kilometers an hour, so not too windy here in the border city. But we will get into it more later in the report. We are expecting some snow this weekend, so get set for that. Some current temperatures across the region here. We look up in Athabasca, currently -14. Down in Edmonton, sitting at -15 currently. Red Deer and Rocky Mountain House sitting at -14. Out in Jasper, -11. Edson is at -14. Whitecourt is at -13. And as we look kind of on the Saskatchewan side here, Meadow Lake -13. Same with North Battleford sitting at -13. Prince Albert and Melfort sitting at -9 currently. And Saskatoon at -11. Looking at Uranium City, a little colder up there, -19. And then Fort Chipewyan, -20. Fort McMurray at -14, Slave Lake -17, Grand Prairie getting pretty cold as well, sitting at -19, Peace River at -17, and High Level out at -19 as well. Looking over at Stony Rapids, -17, Wollaston Lake -16, South End at -13, Laloche and Buffalo Narrows at -15, and Flin Flon at -11. And as well, a lot of these areas are expected to get a lot of snow this weekend. So yeah, get ready for that because it will keep on snowing. Coronation at -15, Medicine Hat at -5, out in Lethbridge, a little bit warmer in these areas, -6 currently out in Lethbridge. And as we move a little bit more west, Calgary at -12 and Banff at -11. Swift Current at -7 and Moose Jaw at -5. Regina also at -7, while Yorkton is at -8 and Estevan is at -6 currently. Tonight's forecast in North Battleford, low of -18. It will get pretty cold tonight and cloudy. Not too much winds of 13 kilometers an hour, but definitely some colder temperatures in North Battleford tonight. And then as we look at Cold Lake Friday night, low of -21, a little bit colder there, but not as windy with only a 9-kilometer-an-hour wind showing. And then as we take a look at the travel forecast here around the region, Meadow Lake tomorrow, high of -13, very cold. Bonnyville, also a high of -14. It'll be a little bit breezier in the afternoon there. Provost, 80% precipitation, will be -14 and some snow of 1 to 3 centimeters. Isle La Crosse at -16, increasing some clouds, and it'll be very cold. Paradise Hill, a high of -14, with, maybe a centimeter or so in Paradise Hill tomorrow. And we take a look at Murnum, 88% chance of precipitation there, so could get up to 3 centimeters with a high of 14. Pearceland tomorrow, high of 13 with some cloud coverage. Unity, high of -14 with same sort of thing with Murnum, maybe 3 centimeters there. Wainwright, -15 with some clouds coming in throughout the day tomorrow. Calgary, getting some snow, 12 centimeters actually could be out there as well tomorrow. And then we look at tonight in Lloydminster, low of -22, and could expect a late night flurry with the precipitation at 41% here. And then looking across all of next week, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, expect some snow. Like I said earlier in the broadcast, it could get up to 40 centimeters this weekend. And then looking at Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, a lot sunnier with some temperatures dying down later on next week. That is all we have for your second look at our weather report. We'll have some more news with Leanne after the break.
I'm here today with the president of the Saskatchewan Association of Rural Municipalities, and we're talking about an issue that is of major concern to a lot of people in Saskatchewan, especially in rural areas, the lack of doctors, and this is what you're wanting to talk about today. What can you tell me?
Well, definitely, we've been meeting with the province, in particular ministers of health and rural and remote health, quite frequently over the last while, and we've brought up several issues. One of them is, of course, doctor recruitment and retention. Also, nurses. Being able to bring more nurses into the rural areas to serve the rural people that live out there on the farms and ranches, in our smaller communities. But also, we see a need to be able to recruit and retain more nurse practitioners. So nurse practitioners are actually the registered nurses that have taken extra training that can do more work towards helping doctors out. And for instance, I'll give you an example. It could be a patient that comes in and needs a prescription renewal or needs to be referred to a physician or perhaps a specialist. They have the ability to do that. And unfortunately, we have some vacancies out in rural Saskatchewan. We don't have enough nurse practitioners. And when we do get them, it seems like they may not stay too long in one place, or they prefer to work in a larger urban center. So the province did have a better strategy, we believe, going back to 2014, where they actually started a recruitment process for nurse practitioners. Actually had a program called Grow Your Own Nurse Practitioner. And it was successful. And it actually started, I think, putting more emphasis on the nurse practitioner field to be able to get people out there. So now we're asking for the province to actually go back and start that program over again, to be able to attract people, nurse practitioners that either haven't had the training or the ones that have had the training, to be able to hopefully come to their own communities that they live in, stay in those communities and work either in a clinic or a small hospital. That's what the the crux of this is to pay attention more to rural Saskatchewan.
Right. I think anybody that has had anything to do with a provincial government, no matter which province, it takes a long time to get things to go through and to be put into place. So how long are you giving them to kind of think about this?
Well, we've issued the press release, of course, and I'm sure that many of the MLAs have already heard this. This is not that's something particularly new, but we're going to be meeting with both ministers actually early next week. It just so happens, and good on them for arranging these meetings ahead of time to be able to meet with us like on a quarterly basis. So we're going to be bringing it up there. I'm sure the ministers are going to ask us about this, why we feel it, it should be brought back again. We're hoping that some of the extra costs that would be incurred by this, and there are going to be some extra costs, whether it be paying some expenses for relocation, moving expenses, and things like that, would be included. We know there are some special warrants that have been put through the Legislative Assembly lately as far as healthcare. We're hoping that maybe some of it could be covered that way, or our provincial budget is just really around the corner. So we're hoping there's some flexibility there that some of this could be considered. So the province has to have the political will to be able to do that. We're just simply passing a message along from our members that this is very important. We know our sister organization, SUMA, is on side with this as well. They've had their members calling for more nurse practitioners. So the lobby does help us as well at SARM.
Absolutely. Well, I guess we will have to wait and see what the next budget brings us, or perhaps the one next year. There's always next year, right?
Yeah, then that's true. And the provincial government is actually, they've done a lot of good changes. They've been able to bring more nurses in. It's true. And the doctor recruitment, I think, has improved. But there's still a lot of room for improvement. We don't want to be too critical of the government because we know they're trying their best. And there is a limited amount of funding. We realize that. But there's still room for improvement. We can't forget about the rural areas. There's an important fact that if you do provide more healthcare out in the rural, you simply allow those people to stay at home. They're not incurring extra expenses. They're not traveling longer distances. And also it takes the load off the urban centers as far as health delivery. And that's a good thing. And that's what we're set out to complete.
Right. And, the cost of living in rural Saskatchewan is quite a bit less than living in a big city. But people aren't going to live there if they don't have those health services.
No, that's exactly right. One of the first things people look at, and we do have a number of people moving out into smaller rural communities, coming from larger centers, not only in Saskatchewan, but from around the country. The cost of living is very attractive. But one of the first things they look at is, do we have healthcare? And if you don't have healthcare, you're not as apt to be able to stay in that community, especially the young children, or if you have elderly parents, for example, you're not going to want to stay there. So we're simply saying, as organizations such as SARM, I think we have to do a better job too of telling other people, not only in Saskatchewan, but from around the country, that this is a good place to live. We have a fairly good cost of living compared to other places. It's a safer communities that, by and large, than a lot of the other provinces have, or larger urban centers in particular. And it's a good place to be. So come to Saskatchewan, and if you can get to training, or if you already have the training for nurse practitioner, we want you in rural Saskatchewan.
Well, we'll leave it there, Ray, and I appreciate your time today. Thanks so much for meeting with me.
Okay, thank you very much. Take care.
If you're looking for an animal adventure this weekend, look no further than the Lloyd X and the Culligan Water Room, as they'll be hosting their Wildlife Festival. The Wildlife Festival will have 2 stages rotating every 45 minutes with big animals like porcupines, pigs, ferrets, tortoises, and boa constrictors. The event runs March 1st to March 3rd from 1 to 5 p.m. and tickets can be found on wildlifefestival.ca. If you're looking for a warm, hearty meal during these cold times, the Canadian Brew House is having their Tomahawk Steak Night. For just $49.99, you can sink your teeth into a juicy 32-ounce tomahawk steak with all the sides of cheese curds, mashed potatoes, anything you could want, and it goes with its signature steak sauce. The event is March 2nd at 6 p.m. and tickets can be found online at the Canadian Brewhouse website. If you're looking for some high-action hockey this weekend, the Lakeland women's hockey team is playing against the St. Trojans in the ACAC semifinals in the Russ Robertson Arena. Games are Friday and Saturday at 7 p.m. and both teams will play Sunday at 3:30 if necessary. Games are free for Lakeland students and you can pay at the door to get in. But whatever you do this weekend, make sure to stay safe and have fun.
What's Happening is brought to you by Northern Factory Workwear, Circle Drive East, Saskatoon, and Highway 17 South, Lloydminster.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery, downtown Lloydminster.
I'm very happy to be joined here today by Carla Whiting with the Border City Rotary Club. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Abby, for having me.
Of course. Now, this is an exciting event that we're going to be talking about. St. Patrick's Day is pretty much right around the corner, just next month in March, or just in a few weeks, actually, now that we're at the end of February. And the Border City Rotary Club is holding an Irish pub night carnival type event in the evening. Tell me about what that is and what people can expect, because it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes, thank you, Abby. So we're really excited to, of course, bring back Irish Pub Night, which is our annual fundraiser that we've been doing every year for more years than I've been around Rotary. And this year we're trying something a little fun called Carnival. And our hopes is just to bring more interaction and fun and games to our guests and just up that experience. Like, Garrett Gregory is amazing. He is a hoot on the stage. Our leprechauns are a ton of fun, but we just wanted to bring more, right? And as guests were leaving last year, the event, they loved it. They were sad that it was done already. They wanted more, and so we took that in consideration. Like, how can we give them more? And so this is the idea our club came up with, and we're really excited to run with it and see how it turns out.
Now, can you give me a little preview on some of the new things that people can look forward to, opposed to like some of the traditional stuff that you'll have?
Yeah, so we always have our games. You know, Lenny the leprechaun, he spends all year brainstorming these things with Lucky Charms and eating Lucky Charms and trying to whistle and different relays and stuff like that. But this year we're hoping to bring in a few more things, like a hula hoop dancer. Now I know that sounds a little weird, but we've been guaranteed she is phenomenal, and she's coming all the way from Edmonton to help entertain in between the sets of Garrett Gregory and the band. We've got some different games planned to be set up around the room, and I don't want to give away too many things because we're still like tweaking the last few things to make sure that it works. But tell them, I guess we could tell our guests to bring some toonies.
Wonderful. It does sound like it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's great that you guys are able to add more and take that into consideration. You know, the events in the past have been fantastic and people have loved it. But now, you know, you guys are adding more to it and keeping it fresh and new, and but keeping the same old loved traditions as well, which is really awesome. Now, is this for everybody, all age ranges, or how does that work? And kind of the technical details of where it is, when it is, and if people need to purchase tickets.
Yeah. That's a great question. So we would love to say it's for everybody, but you need to be at least 19 years of age to attend. Not our rules. That's a provincial thing because there is going to be liquor available for purchase. And so it is Saturday, March 16th. Doors open at 7 p.m. and we're holding it again in the Culligan Water Building at the Lloyd Exhibition Grounds. So lots of room for lots of bodies for a lot of fun. And ideally, we'd love for you to buy your tickets ahead of time. Nothing like last minute Lloyd. So we're really trying to break through that piece. And you know, we've got a bit of a deal out there right now. Our early bird tickets are $40. If you wait to come to the event to get your tickets, you're going to have to spend $10 more and pay $50. So definitely worth saving that extra $10 and using that towards maybe some of the carnival games or some beverages or maybe some mini donuts. So yeah, lots of options there.
You definitely had me at mini donuts. There's
know,
nothing I
me
love
too.
more than donuts.
Who
But
doesn't love hot cinnamon, round, squishy, gooey, delicious
oh yeah, I can already
donuts?
smell them. The
Me
smell is
too.
just as soon as you think about them, you can smell them. So that's gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
Now where can people purchase tickets?
So we're going the online route. It's just so much easier, especially as a small club for the tracking and all of that piece. So we're using a new platform this year called Zephy. The best way to find it is to hit us up on Facebook, Border City Rotary Club Lloydminster. You'll see our Irish Pub Nights ad. Click the links there. I do believe the Lloyd Exhibition Grounds is also going to be putting it up on their website under their upcoming events, and you can click there and buy your tickets. So we would greatly appreciate that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, and I wish you the best of luck for this event this year. It sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Abby. And I hope you can make it out. And don't forget to wear green. Like I tell you, our guests come with like the coolest, funnest costumes and like green sparkles and tutus and metallic and you name it, it's there.
Definitely the time to go out
Yes.
and about. So
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
That is all we have for you this evening. Thank you so much for joining us and have a great weekend.